Hello and welcome to CIS120DF Introduction to Photoshop. My name is Sarah Beakley-Mercill and I will be your instructor for this course. If you are a student who's taken classes with me before or you're brand new, this video is here to serve as a short orientation to my Canvas classroom. For my returning students, my repeat customers, some of this will seem familiar, but I still encourage you to stick around as you may see something that you didn't know before. When you first click on the tile on the dashboard and you enter my class, this is the page you will land on. This is the home page. And you will see in my class, I have some set links: home, announcements, syllabus, modules, grades, and library. If you've taken multiple classes at Scottsdale Community College, you will see that this navigation menu is pretty similar in every class you take. We have designed all of our Canvas classrooms at SCC to have a similar look and feel to make learning easy for the student. Over here on the left in the blue, these are global navigation links to Canvas itself. Two of them that I like to highlight are Calendar and Inbox. The Calendar tool is really nice if you're taking multiple courses, whether at SCC or sister colleges. When you click on this, you'll be able to see all of your classes, any of the due dates your professors have assigned. You can toggle different classes on and off. You can look at them all at the same time. This is really great for planning your life, making sure that you get your work in on time. And then the inbox is the internal communication tool of Canvas. I use the inbox and announcements, which I'll talk about here in a moment, quite heavily in all of my courses. This is how I like to communicate with my students. If you're looking at your inbox and you see a number up here to the right, what that number means is that's how many unread messages you have. I would say if that number is greater than 5, you should definitely get in there and clean that out so that you have a fresh start to the semester and you do not miss any vital communications from me, your teacher. All right, going around the home page, you will see up here at the top, I always keep the 3 most current announcements at the top of this page. So you can read all the announcements by clicking on the announcements link. I only have 2 in here at this time, but when you're at the home page, anything new that I post, you will see they just cycle through those top 3 will always be up here at the top. Over here on the right, these are quick links to anything that's coming due, anything with a due date. So you will see these links over here presented to you. One thing I always like to point out to students is they are listed obviously by due date first, but if you have multiple assignments on the same day, they are then listed alphabetically. So just make sure that you're completing work in the order I have it assigned, and you can find that down here in the modules, which I'll talk about in a moment. So just make sure that you're completing work in the order that it's assigned. All right, going down this page, you will see each of these gray bars. These are called modules, and this is how I have the content organized in my course. Some modules are already open and some are locked. That's what the little lock icon means. You will see the date that I have it ready to unlock. I always keep about 2 weeks of work open at a time on purpose. I like to control how much content my students see, and because this is an accelerated course, there's a lot of content coming at you in a short period of time. Everything builds on previous work, so it's important that you master the work first before you move on to the next module or the next piece. All right, so when you come into the classroom, you might see that some of these modules or all of them are open and expanded. Okay, you can come and you can click these to open and close them. I like to keep them closed when I'm not working on them. You can click this collapse button at the top. That will collapse them all, or likewise expand them all. Okay, so I just always like to keep that collapse button. I like to keep it nice and neat and clean. That's just how I like things to work. Obviously, your version on your end, you can have them all open if that's you. All right. Continuing on, again, you could expand these modules. The first 2 modules, Welcome and First Steps, are the same. We have those built into every Canvas course. So we'll go ahead and start on Welcome. I've built my classes in a linear fashion, and what that means is you're just going to start with the first link in the first module. You're going to click on this page, and then you're going to go ahead and read. You're going to consume all of that content from top to bottom. So pages have a variety of content, videos and links and reading, all of that, and you're responsible for consuming all of that. This video right here is just a kind of a welcome video, get to know my personality. So if you've taken classes with me before, this will be familiar. And then this one right here, I'm creating it as we speak. That's what you're listening to. So I am creating this video before the class opens. So there's still a few pieces I need to put in before I actually let the class go live. All right, and you'll just scroll down. You'll see a hyperlink to different areas of the course or whatnot. You'll read through all of that, get to the bottom, click next, and that's like turning the page. That's what it means, a linear fashion. So you can just go through each page individually, get to the bottom, click Next. This page is an important page because this is where you're going to find me. I'm available a lot at many different places, virtually and in person for this semester. So everything that's in yellow, I just haven't created those links yet. Again, I'm still getting some things ready before I open the class. You can find me in many places. I have office hours 5 days a week. I have in the tutoring lab 3 days a week. And I have what are called online live learning hours, or OLL. Just real quick, online live learning is something unique to the CIS department at SCC. What we have done is for select online classes, we have included what's called an OLL hour or 2. And what that is it's dedicated teaching and tutoring. In this case, I have it twice a week because this is an 8-week accelerated class. And what I will do, I'd have them on Mondays and Thursdays and around the lunch hour in the hopes that if you have a free 30 minutes or you have some time, you can pop in and listen. I will always record these. These are live streamed, virtual. And then I will record those lessons and make them available for students. On Mondays, I'm always going to run through one lesson, sometimes 2. It just depends on how big the lesson is, meaning I will actually do the assignment and record it. Some students like to have that step by step. I will also highlight and spotlight different things that you might not come across in the reading or in the practice. You can also use OLL to ask me questions and pretty much ask me anything you want about Photoshop. Even if it's not something I'm teaching, I am happy to teach it to you, even if it's not required. So definitely check out OLL. Even if you can't make this time, I will tell you that my previous students who've taken this class, they will watch those videos and they are super helpful to the students. Maybe just the way your life works that you just can't be here at this time. That's okay. That's why they're not required attendance. They are there for your enjoyment and additional learning. All right. Scroll back up, click on Home. Okay, a few other things I want to point out because I'm trying to keep the video short. We're at 7 minutes. All right, so let's scroll down to a later module. I'm going to go ahead and click on week 2. So anytime you expand a module, you will see there's all kinds of different activities. Course documents contain content that I have created. It's supplemental content that complements your textbook as well as whatever we're working on that week. So you are responsible for consuming this content, reading it. I have additional articles, videos, links, all of that. So that is just to help support everything you're learning with Photoshop. Go back to Home. And then one last thing I want to point out, when you're completing an assignment, something that's graded, I'll go ahead and click on Mango Head. Let's look at this one. You will see that I have instructions for download. Sometimes there's a start file, sometimes there isn't. It just depends on the assignment. If it's appropriate, I will have an example. And just remember, your projects do not have to look exactly like mine. These are a guide. There's a lot of practice. This is a 100 level introductory course. Lots of practice, okay? But the image is there to help you kind of see what yours should look like. What I really want you to focus on is the rubric. Anytime I give you an assignment that I grade, we'll have a detailed rubric, and this is how I will grade you or I will assess you. So I would just tell you to focus on everything in the left side of the rubric, right? Those are the most points you can earn. As long as you're focusing on these, you will earn the most points possible. So just focus on the left, right? That way you can earn the most points possible. All right. A few other things that I want to point out is over here. This is pretty cool, the syllabus link. Because I have already preloaded everything into the course and I've assigned all the due dates, I'm going to scroll down here first. You can see here's everything that's due for the next 8 weeks. That's a lot of work. Okay, it is. But it's an accelerated class. You will find a copy of my syllabus and welcome letter, which I've already sent you. So if you didn't get it or you just want it again, you can download it here. And then another thing I want to point out is my class is QM certified. I hold the Quality Matters mark. You can learn about Quality Matters by clicking on the link. What I will tell you is Quality Matters is a peer recognized review process. So my class has been through a rigorous review process that meets 56 different key points about the design and delivery of my course. I'm also a member of Quality Matters and I am a master reviewer. So I actually review other online courses across the country for their quality in design and delivery. So what does all this mean? This means you're getting an awesome course and other people have concluded. An organization has actually put their stamp of approval on my class saying, yes, this is a fantastic course and you're going to get a great learning experience. All right, going back to home. So there's a link called modules. Just so you know, the only difference between home and modules is that the modules page has everything the home page does, except it doesn't have announcements and the to-do list. So they're basically the same. I just drive my students to home all the time. That's where you're going to spend most of your time. Grades, obviously, is your grade book. You're the arbiter of your own grades, so it's important that you are checking that. If you have any questions about your grades, let me know, right? I'm a human being. I make mistakes. So I rely on you to look at the feedback I give you. If you don't understand something, ask. All right, so we're just past the 10 minutes. So a few last things that I want to mention are that the most important thing I would let you guys know straight up front, which you already know, is this is an 8-week accelerated class. So you are learning 16 weeks of material in 8 weeks. I have due dates 3 days a week, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays. There is an expectation that you are spending 15 to 20 hours a week for the next 8 weeks on this course. Some weeks you might not spend that much, and some weeks you might spend more than that. It just depends on your comfort level with technology and your own workflow process. Definitely you'll spend more time in the beginning, especially just learning Photoshop, because it's a beast. In a good way, it's a beast. So keep that in mind, that you will be spending time on this course, 15 to 20 hours a week. Because the due dates are every 3 days a week, I will be sure to turn that grading around ASAP. If I am expecting you to turn work in, my commitment to you is that I will turn that grading around as soon as you turn it in so that you can move forward. Because as I said earlier, everything in this class builds upon previous work. And then the last thing I just want to say is ask questions, guys. There are no dumb questions. Please ask your questions. That's how I can help you, right? That's what I get paid for, is to teach and answer your questions. So you're not bothering me. You don't need to apologize. Just ask, please be nice and polite in your emails and provide as much detail about your question as possible. That's going to help me help you. And then again, just another plug, definitely check out my OLL hours on Mondays and Thursdays if you can. Those are great additional moments for you to learn and help, especially in this online environment. And with that, welcome. I'm super excited to get to know you, see your work, and you will be amazed at how much you're going to learn in the next 8 weeks. In fact, it's going to blow your mind what you do in the first week, okay? So have fun, ask questions, and welcome.